Hi, Kate Creasy here, and I have a March 2020 Paper Pumpkin alternative card that I made that I thought I would share with you today. And this is what it looks like, and I'm going to show you how we did it. So let's get started. Of course, you start with an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of Whisper White thick cardstock, folded and burnished so that it creates a A2 card, 4 1/4, or not 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that's that. Then I went ahead before I started here, and with Memento ink, I stamped the boots. We need 4 boots, 2 pairs, and I stamped the sentiment onto one of the tags that came with the kit. And I stamped 4 bunches of these flowers, and I'll show you why in a moment. And but I did all but one so that you don't have to watch me do all 4 of them. Okay. The colors that I'm going to use, I'll just name them off as we go. So here's the base. I'm going to stamp 1 pair of these boots with Blueberry Bushel. And I'm going to make sure you can see this. This little space here at the bottom doesn't get inked, so you can use that as kind of your guide as where to start. And they're not that hard to line up. There's boot number 1. And then I have to clean it so I can do a different color. And this card's going to use a different color of boot, so instead of Blueberry Bushel, I'm going to make the other pair Lovely Lipstick. Or instead of green, like I showed on my original, this is going to be Lovely Lipstick. And again, we're just going to line them up, stamp them well, and there we go. So there's those. Let's get those closed up so we don't get ink somewhere we don't want it. And I probably should have cut these out before we started so you wouldn't have to watch for so long, but I forgot. So you get to watch me cut them out. And I cut them out into 4 individual boots. I didn't leave them fastened together. In the kit, there were some that were fastened together, and I could have used those, but my whole goal in doing an alternative is to utilize the stamps as much as I can with just some extra things like Whisper White cardstock and such, so that you can have a use for this stamp set and everything after all the kit pieces have been used up, and gives it some longevity that way. So you've got some versatility and you can make it work for other things. And as you can see, it doesn't take that long to cut them out. Nice straight lines and fairly easy to cut. There's the blue pair. Next, we'll get the red ones here. Hopefully I'm staying in the window. Like I said, I'm not set up with all kinds of professional equipment and lighting and overlaying and voiceover and all that stuff. My videos are just made off the cuff with my tablet attached to a tripod and some lighting in my bedroom, my stamping room. It used to be a bedroom. And so it's pretty low-key backyard style, I guess you'd call it. But they seem to turn out okay, and I'm open for comments if you have something you want to share and suggestions that you want to make. I am open for that. I tried to do most of this kind of stuff and just tell you about it and then have it done beforehand so you don't spend hours watching a video, but there we go. Next, we're going to do the flowers. Now, this is the flowers. I colored these with blends, and I'll share the colors with you as we go along. Started out by doing the leaves with this color, which is light Granny Apple Green. And if you just barely touch in there, they're tiny, but you can see them. And it's just a matter of finding all them little leaves, and if you make a mistake, it's probably not going to show. I colored the entire flower, but we're not going to be using it because I'm going to be doing some cutting down, and I'll show you why. Excuse me. And so it's just a matter of getting them. Like I say, I made 4 of these because we're going to be cutting them and attaching them to our boots, as you saw on the card when we started. And so I did them ahead of time so you wouldn't have to endure that for the entire video. The next color I've got here is Dark Mango Melody. And of course, the colors that you choose are totally up to you. And I tried to do every single one of these randomly different. I didn't try to color them all for the same or anything like that. Next color I've got here is Dark Rich Razzleberry. That's enough of that one. Next color I've got is Dark Pumpkin. That looks good. And the last one I have is Lovely Lipstick. And I believe it's the dark one as well. And I love this color. I don't wear this color, but it's a lovely color. And we'll just do all the remaining flowers with Lovely Lipstick. And I think that's it. Okay. So there it is colored. And now I'm going to cut it out. And the reason I'm cutting it, here's the others and what they look like. And the reason I did that is because I got to put them inside my boots. And I wanted them to fit. And obviously, this is too wide. So I'm going to cut it. And I didn't want to just cut halfway up one side. Excuse me, up one side. I wanted it to come out of the middle. So it looked a little bit more natural. So I'm going to kind of cut off the outside edges of this. Just following it around. We're going to lose that little piece. Hopefully you can see this okay. Get that out of the way. And around. And I'm going to go down in there a little bit and up and around. This is why I stamped 4 of them, because I'm taking the piece right out of the middle that I want. I didn't want it to look like it was sideways. I wanted it to look like, and I'm just cutting it thinner so that it'll, and there's the 4th one. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to attach those to the boots. And I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow on the bottom of each of these where the black parts are. And then I will attach them to the boots like so. So it looks like there's these lovely little flowers either growing or right out of the boot, or they've been put in there like they're in a vase. So there's those, ready to go. Put those aside. Now here's the 2 pieces that are going to go on the card front, this background right here. And what I started with, find my brush, which one I used, because I want to get the right color. I used one of these brushes and the Smoky Slate ink pad, and I just brushed a very light coating of this over the front of the card. And it doesn't matter what it looks like, because it's gonna just, it's just to add a little bit of color to the background, so it looks kind of cloudy and stormy, and you can't really do it wrong. Okay, and that's good enough. It doesn't need to be very dark. Then we're going to add the grass, and I'm using Garden Green for that. And I'm using this grass stamp, but I'm not stamping it all the way on. I'm shortening it up just a little bit. I don't need it to be quite so tall. So you can see I'm going, I don't know if you can see, but I'm doing it about like that. So stamp it off once, stamp it again. Ah, that looks good. Just kind of random. By the time I get done, it'll look really good. There's my grass. Maybe just a little bit more right there. Ah, perfect. So there's the grass with garden green. Next, we're going to do some clouds. And I'm going to use this cloud first. And I think it's the only cloud I used. And again, just randomly adding some, I don't want them to look exactly the same, so I'm going to that looks good. And it's going to be personal preference, up to you, whatever you want to do. So we're done with those. So now it's just a matter of building the card. How simple is this? Huh? So we're going to attach these. And because they are 4 1/4, or 4 by 2.5, it's going to leave that 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch border all the way around. And so that's what I'm using. Can you see? Let me move it up a little bit. So that's what I'm using as my guide for where I want it. That looks good. And then this one. Oop, ran out of Tombow. And then this one, if I do it the same, there'll be an even, if the gap in the middle is a little bit wider, that's okay, because it's not going to hurt the look of the card. So there are the backgrounds on the card. Now with the boots, we're going to do those with dimensionals. And I'm going to put 3 dimensionals on each of them. One in the middle and one at the bottom. So those flowers get supported as well. Okay, now we'll pull up the tops off of those. And I always go, wow, this card coming together really fast. Now, when I was designing it, it took a little longer because I had to think through all the different things I wanted to do and in what order, and then thinking about how I wanted to get it ready so I could videotape it for you without it taking 45 minutes to tell you how to make a card. So took a little longer then, but here we are. Okay, I need 2 red boots. There they are. Let's get this over here where you can see it. And if you just lay them down lightly and not press them into place, you can kind of adjust them, which I obviously need to do. There we go. Just like that. Standing in the grass. And we'll put the blue ones over here. Like that. And let's move it over just a little bit. There we go. So there's that. And then for the sentiment, I put just 2 right in the middle so that they'll, like this, so that they're behind this, and that will set it up right there in the middle so it's even with the boots when it's raised. And there it is, just that simple. Isn't that fun? It's just such a really cute card, and I like that saying, especially right now. Just seems to really fit with the day. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you're interested in becoming a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, I have my contact information in the information on the video, and you can get that there. Thank you very much.